Hello, good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. in Windhoek, Namibia, 12 p.m. in Port Louis, Mauritius, and 11 a.m. in Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Michael Ngugi Kimani, and I'm very much pleased to be moderating this particular session. And thank you very much for registering and participating in the MAP competition. This is the second webinar that we shall be conducting, and we have a packed 1 hour session. So the agenda of the day are actually 2 items. The first item, I will give a recap of the MAP competition, just in case somebody recently registered and they don't know much about it. So I'll give a recap of that. Then one of my colleagues called Pauline from Esri, she will talk about the submission formats that we have. We have actually 4 submission formats that we are looking at. They are story maps, web maps, data dashboards, as well as web applications. So Pauline will take you through web maps and web applications. And then my colleague also called Isaac will take you through what we call the story maps, as well as the dashboards. So that is really the agenda of the day. And first things first. So we'll give you an overview of the MAP competition. Maybe I hope you can be able to see my screen. Can you be able to see my screen? Maybe somebody can do a thumbs up.
Yes,
it's visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the competition was launched on 21st of July. That is a month ago. And it will run until 22nd of November 2022. Excuse me. So the total price tag of the competition is 10,000 euros. And really the main theme of the competition is to enhance the role of geoconservation in protected area management, as well as environmental conservation. So the timeline are as indicated on the screen. So we started all the way from 21st July. The key date to note is that the registration ends on 30th September. So if there's somebody who is still who has not yet registered, or you want to inform to register, they have 30 days from today to do the registration. Then after that, we will open the window for the submission. The window for the submission will run for 20 days, and the deadline of it will be 20th of October. So this basically means that immediately after the registration ends, we shall have another webinar where we shall highlight how the submission will be done. So that will come in the next webinar series that we shall be conducting. For today, we'll just be focused on the submission formats that you can choose to submit your entry. Then the winner will be awarded on 22nd of November. And this will take place in Kampala, Uganda. So we have 24 countries who are participating. They are shaded in yellow there, from Sudan all the way down to South Africa. So if you are in one of those participating countries, you should be able to participate successfully. The objective, I had indicated it a bit earlier, but it's to really create and enhance the use of Earth observation and to create awareness to the various data sharing portals, as well as observatories that we do have. So that is really the objective. And the idea here is to really create a fun way of creating maps and sharing them in a simple way. So the award prizes are divided into 4 categories. So we have the first category, which is on forestry, protected areas, as well as wildlife. The price tag is 2,000 euros. Then we have another category for marine, oceans, as well as coastal information. It's 2,000 as well. Then the third category is on land degradation, wetlands, and conservation. The price tag is 2,000. We shall have a People's Choice Award, whereby the winner will be voted by 5 people, and the 5 people will be selected by the judges. So we will have the overall winner going home with around 4,000 euros. And additionally to this, all the 4 winners will receive a 1-year Esri ArcGIS license that they can use, and courtesy of our strong partners, Esri. So the judging criteria will be 5 items. really we are looking at the map should be map centric. The design layout should be nice. It should be visually appealing. It should be communicating something very, very strongly, and effective use of geographical information. So you can read more details about this in the website. So we have also listed some data sources where you can get some data. And what you are required is to, when you are submitting your entry, you need to use at least 2 data sets from any of the above named data sources. So the data sources are listed there from the Protected Planet, the Africa Geoportal, the RCMRD Open Data Platform, PESA Geoportal, as well as the GMS and Africa Geoportal. So you need to pick at least 2 data sets from any of the above named data sources. And if you have any other data sets in different locations you want to use, feel free to do that. So the submission formats that we are looking at are we have web maps, and then we have story maps. We also have data dashboards, and we have map applications. In this particular webinar, we will be looking at the 4 submission formats that you can submit your entry. And I should also mention that you can submit as many entries as you wish. You can submit as many as you wish. And then the main platform that we shall be using to do the submission of these products is ArcGIS Online. So definitely you will need to create an account there, and that platform you can use it to create the 4 products that I have just mentioned. So as I wind up, I would like to give credit and thanks to our participating projects and partners. That is BioPAMA. BioPAMA in full means Biodiversity and Protected Area Management. We also have GMS and Africa. GMS means Global Monitoring for the Environment of Security in Africa. Then we also have the OFESA project, which is for East and Southern Africa Forest Observatory. And our strong partners are IUCN, the Joint Research Center of the European Union Commission, ESRI, the Protected Planet, the Center for International Forest Research. Those are our key partners. So I would like to stop there and hand over to my colleague, Pauline. She will start off the presentation, and Pauline will talk about web maps and web application. After Pauline is done, Isaac will jump in, and he will talk about the story maps as well as the data indicator dashboards. Over to you, Pauline.
Thank you, Ngugi. So I'll just share my screen. I hope you can hear me clearly and you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So just starting off from where we left off in the last session, where we covered how you can access, how you can have an account on Africa Geoportal for the competition in case you don't have an ArcGIS Online account, and how you can go about accessing data from the data sources that Ngugi had mentioned. So I'll take the next few minutes to just walk us through how we can get data from some of the listed sources here and create web maps, which you can proceed to submit for the competition, or to create applications from the configurable apps that we have. So one of the sources that was mentioned is the Living Atlas, which is a collection of data, which could be any kind of geospatial content, that could be maps, apps, or layers, and all kinds of information around geospatial data that ESRI curates on behalf of a number of our partners or agencies. So from the Living Atlas, you'll be able to browse data sets that are specific to conservation, biodiversity, environment, and any other category of data that you feel you will need to use it for your map when you're creating your map on for the competition. So you'll see we have categories of data where we have trending data, base maps that you can take advantage of, imagery in case you'd like to take advantage of multispectral imagery, demographic information. In this case, we have things like transportation, utility networks, and so on, and definitely the environment. So you're able to get all that kind of data from here. So if you were to, for example, search for a data set from this particular location. You can see you have a number of results and you're able to just filter by content type, maybe data within a specific period, a certain zone, and maybe also just have something that's specifically from Esri. And you can see already Esri has, on behalf of a number of participating organizations, made available these layers within Living Atlas, and you can open them directly. You can open them directly into your Africa GeoPortal account. So one of the layers I'm particularly interested in is marine species of the world. So if I was to just search for that, I can get some information published by an authoritative source. So for example, if I was interested in this one, if I just open it, I'm able to see a description of the data set. You can see it's from the Living Atlas. It's Esri curated, and it just gets a description of where this data comes from, the coverage and all of that, and how I'd be able to use it. So from that point, I'm able to open this layer within a map viewer. And the map viewer is your canvas that you'll be using to design your map, apply different kinds of styling to your data so that you have the final result. So when I open this, you can see that I have this information on display at a global scale, and I was just able to filter this information just to remain with something specifically for Africa. So I'll just remove this layer and only have this specific data for Africa. So from that point on the map viewer, some of the things I'd be able to do is be able to look at the properties, look at the attributes table to see what's inside the data set and so on. And if I click on one particular feature, I can see some information on a pop-up that is on display. So one of the first things I'd like to do is just change the appearance of the base map, then proceed to change the appearance of this layer on marine mammal species and different ecoregions around Africa, do a bit of styling, then share this as our web map. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just come and choose a base map from the Living Atlas again. As you saw, we have a number of base maps that will be available there. And I'll just search for a specific one called 5th century and be able to add it to replace my base map. And once that is done, if I click on my particular base map, one of the properties I'd be able to change are things like transparency and so on. But something that has been introduced onto your map viewer is the ability to change the appearance of your base map as an effect that you could have. So one of the things that you could do is probably change it to grayscale so that our data pops out, then probably invert this so that we have the continent appearing as gray, as black, then the ocean appearing as gray, because our emphasis here is on the marine ecosystem. So after that, I can just close my base map here and come back to my layer. And one of the things I would like to do on my layer again is to probably change how it appears. So in this case, I have my ecosystem, my marine mammal species by different ecoregions, where I would like to style this based on count and amount. So we can just see that places that there are high number of mammal species, they appear darker than other places, which is something I could keep it at that, or I can make additional changes to the property. So this could be maybe making the transparency maybe to be a bit lighter so that it blends a bit to the background, it's not too striking and so on. So those are just some of the few updates you could make to a layer that you've added, just change the appearance and so on. I can also update my pop-up so that it has relevant information. So as of now, it just has a title for the pop-up as well as all the fields available. And maybe my interest is to not have all the particular fields, but just have one field that has this information. So I'd be able to do that as just having that information, or I can remove that and just say, I will have a description which will contain the pop-up text, whereby I'm saying for this particular ecoregion, it has a number of marine species and so on. So I can close my pop-up there, and we just have a simple map, which we've changed the base map, we've updated the layer to look a certain way, and we are able to convey information. So still from that point, I'd be able to add a data set. So in this example, again, from Living Atlas, I can add layer on that has trending data, or that has a live feed of a data set. So in this case, I'm adding ocean currents. And this is just a layer that has been made available that just displays the ocean currents around the world. So with that, on my layer, again, I can come to update the symbology. So instead of it appearing as vector lines on the map, I can choose the option of flow. And then I can change my appearance to make sure that it's a bit faster. The density is a bit more, the length of the flow is longer so that it looks like an actual current. Then I can change the appearance of my color ramp so that instead of it blending too much with that species over there, I can make it to be in such a striking way. So after that, we just have a map that has the marine mammal species, and maybe this can be used by someone just to show that maybe the places where we have high currents or very warm currents, there would be an effect on how many species are being found there, or how many are being made available within those places. So after that, I'd be able to save my map. And once my map has been saved, I have the option of sharing it out. So for share options, you can share it with an organization, with a group, or publicly. So I think one of the submission requirements is to have this map shared publicly with everyone. So if you choose everyone, after that, you'd have a map that any of the judges will be able to access it and be able to give insights on what you've been able to do and so on. So another data source that was mentioned is the protected planet data source. Here we have a lot of layers that are made available, and one of them is this layer on protected areas across across the world. So we have terrestrial, marine, and other effective areas. So again, they've provided a mechanism to be able to access this data where you're able to download it, or again, within Living Atlas to be able to access this data set from there and make use of it. So that's what I was able to do. And I'd have my layer of protected areas within my map. And we can see that for this particular layer, we have some information there on the legend where we can see there are different kinds of protected areas and so on. So again, one of the things I could do is choose a base map that would bring out this information clearly. Then other than protected areas, one of the things that I could do is add something on fires. So at times we have cases where there are fire incidents in these areas, and I might want to just be able to visualize this information. So we have the MODIS thermal data set, which you can just have there from the Living Atlas. It's coming from NASA. And again, Esri has been able to make this information available for you. And if I come to the layers, you'll see that it's actually a group of data. So I can just ungroup and then remove this one for 7 days so that I just have the one for the last 48 hours. So we can just have a simple base map that, a simple layer and base map and another layer on display there. And one of the things I'd like to do for this layer is that if we look at the attribute information, you find that all of these layers are just where it was suspected there was a fire, which is quite a lot. And I might want to only see places where maybe we were 98% sure that there would be fire within those particular places. So you'll see that filters are displayed just to have areas where the fire would be highly probable, Then after that, we can come to effects again to use some of the effects indicated here if that's something you'd like to do. You're also free to change the style or the appearance of your symbology. Just to make sure, again, it's not too striking, it doesn't fight too much with the background of the map and so on. And after that, one of the things that I'd like to do is just, again, change my symbology so that I just have one simple appearance here for my styling options. So I will change it to something that fits with the map itself in the background. Then after that, one of the properties I could do is choose an overlay. So ideally what would happen is that the sections of the protected areas within Africa are being made distinctively different from the other parts of Africa that ideally are not so distinct. But you're free to use any of these options basically to just decide which of the options you'd like to use for changing the kind of overlay that will be there and so on. So again, once you've chosen maybe something that you prefer to highlight where the protected areas are and where the fires are, again, you'll be able to save this and share it out or create an application. And finally, you can also work with 3D data sets within your analysis or within the competition, whereby you can take a layer that has an additional attribute that you can visualize or is actually in 3D. So in this case, again, I could search for a data set from Living Atlas. And my interest here is to use something on human modification. And in this case, we have a layer that looks at proportion of conservation, protection, and human modification. So I'll just add this to the scene. And basically that particular layer is just breaking down the world into grids, and we can just see areas where there's high conservation and areas where conservation is not so high because of human modification. So what I could do is change the layer properties in this case. So one of the things is that I've chosen one field for visualizing this information. Sorry, let me just start and change my attributes here. And I'm just interested in rangeland, looking at this information as per rangeland and have it in 3D format. So if I was to tilt the map a bit, I'd be able to see this information in 3D formats as visible. But beyond that, I can decide to also filter this information based on another field. So in this case, I'm interested in rangelands that are specifically within protected areas. So I'll just change my display there a bit. And from that point, I'll just be able to see rangelands that actually fall within areas that are about maybe let me just switch to 30, about 30% within protected areas and so on. After that, again, I can choose one of these base maps available. Sorry, my machine is really doing its best here to display everything as fast as possible. But also I could choose, let me probably choose dark gray canvas because what we have there. And once that is done, again, with what is on display, with the scene, I'd be able to create slides or to create sections of navigation which users can take advantage of. So for example, I could just start with the first display and have this slide as Africa. Then I could try to navigate to the western part of Africa so that we just look at that section and the protected areas within this area. And then I can just capture the slide as West Africa. Then from that point, I'll move to the south. Then we have the slide for South Africa. And these are slides that a user will be able to navigate. So they have the starting point, then they can start navigating to the different parts. After that, once you're done with the scene, you're able to save it. Just make sure you put in a title, tags to make it searchable, and give a summary that will be useful to someone. So just going back to our original map here, as you saw that you were able to save it. But after that, one of the things that should be possible from this point is to be able to create an application. So we have different options for applications. Instant apps are just templates that we made available as Esri within Africa GeoPortal or Access Online to quickly create your maps. Experience Builder has a more enhanced ability to configure how the app will be, and story maps and dashboards will be covered by Isaac. So if you just choose the option of instant apps, it gives you a number of templates that you could take advantage of to create your particular application. So from that, you can see we have listed applications that have been made available there, and you can search by particular capabilities. So for example, if I wanted a template that would allow printing or would allow someone being able to take a screenshot, I could search by that capability and only get the apps that have that particular capability. Also, I could choose the option of compatibility to just have this filtered again based on the data I have displayed on my web map, so that it just scans and sees which application template would be best suited to that. But one of the things that you could also do is the ability to preview how your map would appear based on a particular template. So I could choose basic, and you can see to just have basic navigational tools there for the map. So you can go to home, you can zoom, and you can see the legend and so on. So if I chose that option, you can see I'm able to put in some information. Then I create the application, which will take a few seconds for this to load. And from there, I'm able to configure this application. So we have an express format for configuring the app because sometimes we just want to create an output that will be relevant. And we just want to make sure that the map is in order. We have a description for the application. When someone clicks the About section, they'll get that description about the application. We like to just select what kind of interactivity a user would have within that particular application. And in addition to that, again, we can just indicate which kinds of basic navigational tools will be available for that particular app. So once that is done, once you've made your configurations, you're able to publish, and this will now be a public application which can be used, which can be shared and used for different kinds of purposes, including participating in the competition. So I think with that, I'll just hand over to Isaac to continue with the other section. Thank you.
Hi, Pauline, that's fine. So I'll only talk about the dashboards and the story maps. So I'm Isaac Fadamula here at RCMRD. So let me share my screen. So hope everyone can be able to see my screen. So this is an assumption that you've already acquired your data from the African Geoportal or any other source that you indicated, that is Biopama, the protected planet. So I'll have so this is my source of data that I'll be able to get my data from. So as Pauline earlier indicated, you can be able to choose which thematic area you want to get data for. So I click on protected areas. So once you download your data, you'll have to come to your platform. So we'll ensure you create a folder that where your data will be stored. I'll show by an example. So for example, if I create a folder called map competition, so a folder will contain all your working that you'll have done before submission. So this is my working folder, assuming I've gathered all the data. So I'll take you directly to what I've done. Now, a dashboard always starts with a web map. As you've been taken through, you have to create a web map so that the dashboard will be reading from the created web map that you have. So I'll open in a classic viewer. This is your web map. So I hope if you have other data that you can be able to add, you simply click on add. What you're seeing here is the protected areas in the world, the data that I've acquired from the protected planet. So you can add as much data as possible. For example, admin data, you can add from file, you can add from web, you can still add from the living atlas that has been demonstrated some few minutes ago. So ensure you save, and you must be able to specify the correct name that you're saving your map with. Now, from after you've saved your web map, you'll go to your contents here. So you click on content. And then from the folder that you're working on, you click on create application. You click on create application, you'll have instant apps. We have a web app builder, we have ArcGIS story maps and ArcGIS. So once you click on dashboards, when you click on dashboards, it will direct you to another window. So you specify the name of your dashboard. Let's say dashboard 1. Then you can put your tags. Tags are normally helpful when you're searching a specific dashboard or you want to filter your dashboards for easier communication. So I can just say Biopama or any keyword that you'll like to write there. You can have a brief summary of your dashboard and then ensure you select the specific folder that you're working with so that you don't get to lose your data. Myself, I'll select Biopama. And then once I'm done, you click on create dashboard. Sorry. You click on create dashboard. Now, so your dashboard is empty. Now from here, you have to get to know what are the elements of a dashboard. And the first element you have to include in your dashboard is a map, because it has to communicate where your data is, where is it on the Earth surface. So these elements are chosen according to your main aim of communication. So I'll choose the web map called the Biopama project. Now here you choose some of the interactive elements that will be appearing on your map. So you can select either all of them, or you can choose not to select all of them. So for my case, I'll just select, then I'll include the scale bar. Then once I'm done, you click on done. So your web map will be called from the initial web map that you created with all your data displayed here. Now, ensure you save. Any slight change you make, you ensure you save. Now, what is the second? On the layout, you can still add, but before you go to layout, the body, you can be able to edit this title by adding a header. So instead of reading dashboard 1, you can come and say protected areas dashboard. So from here, you can choose the text color, let's say green or black. We remain with black. You can choose the background color. So protected areas, we give it a thematic color of green. That's fine. Then once you're done, you click on done. So that's your title of your dashboard. You can come back to body and then add an element. So you have several elements that you can be able to add on your dashboard. You have the map legend. This will be showing what symbol represents what on the map. You have the serial chart. That's the bar chart, the normal bar chart. We have the pie chart, comparative of several variables. Indicator, this normally for quantitative data. For example, you want to show on the dashboard how many protected areas are in the world. Then a gauge is like an indicator, but the normal gauge. A list will help you when you're doing a selection. For example, you want to know the number of protected areas in Kenya. A table is just a summary of the attributes of a specific selected area. And then details, this is just a summary of a protected area or as a particular item that you are communicating. Rich text, this is a normal text. Then embedded content, if you are calling an element from another source. So I'll go through, you can add a map element, this for the African countries. Or if you don't want, you can still delete it here. So I'll quickly add an indicator. So what indicator are we adding? We are adding an indicator from a data source called WDPS polygon length. Now this is the total number of protected areas in the world. So we are mapping by object ID. Now, maybe this one people might think, what is 258.9K? So to modify that, you can be able to come to the indicator here, click on general. So you can rename this indicator. The reason why you are renaming is that you might want to use this indicator later, or when you're linking your map to your body elements. So we normally advise that you rename it to total protected areas indicator, so that whenever you want to call it later, you're able to identify it. Instead of writing indicator 1, indicator 2, you might be confused what stands for indicator 1 and what stands for indicator 2. So the title will be total protected areas, PA. So this one, you can still modify it. You can modify it, suit your presentation. You can come here, can increase the size. You can still scroll down and choose the background color. Can give it green or any pleasant color that you may like. Then we can have a last update text. When was it last updated? You can choose whether to have it or not. Then you can enable the data download. Remember, you also wish other people to download or to use your data. You can enable this icon. Then from here, you click on done. Now, once you've added an element or you've made a change, you ensure to save. Always save your data. Then another element I'm going to add is a list. Again, from the note here. So there's a layer for admin boundaries that I've added. That is the African countries. So from this, I'll be able to go to list. Then I don't want to label this list by numbers. So I'll go to this curly braces and then select. You can either select ISO 3, ISO 2, but now not all people understand what ISO 3 or ISO 2 stands for. So I'll choose the specific field called country. Then I don't want these polygons to be appearing before the country. So what do? Come on list. Then on line item icon, I click on none. Again, you can choose your text color from here. You can choose your background, and you can choose what, if you select an item here, what color should be displayed. So I'll leave it at the default. Then you can also choose the selection color. If an item is selected, what color should it show on the list? So I've chosen green. From here, you ensure you communicate. This is the countries list. Countries list. I can give it a title so that someone knows this is a country list. Countries, you can format it your way. So you can give it, these are basic formatting. So I'll not dwell so much on that. You'll click on done. So we are adding these elements one by one. Maybe another element you can add here is an indicator, still from the database. So an indicator, what is our indicator on? No, sorry. Let me add, because I've already added the total PS, let me add a pie chart. So a pie chart, maybe you're comparing, remember protected areas are split into categories. You have the IUCN category, you have the Ramsar sites. So I'll choose which category I want to represent this data. So I'll maybe choose a destination. What is the destination of this data? So you'll be told that they cannot render too many categories. So there's a lot. Maybe I'll just choose protected areas definition. Protected areas definition. So what are we? Field. Choose the field, protected areas definition. So still it's too much. Maybe I can choose another category here. So I'll choose management authority. So we find that there's no data for that field. So here, the data might be huge, so that's why it's taking some time to call the data into our. Let me check ownership type. So I've managed to add ownership type. If I add ownership type, what do I do next? I can be able to go to slices. You can edit the symbolization from here. If you like to change from the normal colors presented there, come to chart, the settings are okay. You can add a legend. So legend can have value, can have percentages. So placement, you can either choose to either side or bottom, depending on how your box is. You can have labels, either as percentages. I will come to general. You can have management category pie chart. So management. Then I can have title, management, category. So that is it. You can still format it the way you want. Then once you are sure that that's what you want, you can be able to click on done. Now, so you can add as many components as possible or as many elements as possible, depending on what you want to communicate. So once you've added this, ensure that your dashboard is well arranged. So for example, this one is not fine. So you can drag your items to a good location. So let me say I drag it here. I add it as a row. Now, once I add it as a row, I can be able to squeeze this one. Then I can still add here, drag this one here, put it on here, add it as a column. Or you can choose to stack. So let me add. So I can add it here as a column, or I can still move it to be here. So moving, it will depend on where you want to add your map or add your element. So once you've done that, you can be able to have a complete dashboard, which I'm going to display here. Now on interactive elements, you can come and set. So we want these figures or these elements on the map, on the body, to be linked to this list. So you'll come and edit your list. You'll come and edit your list. Before you edit your list, ensure you change this figure to the normal values. So you go to configure, then indicate. You go to value formatting, then unit prefix, you remove it. So that will be your normal numbering style, so that everyone can be able to understand what you're doing. So I'll go back to a completed dashboard. So I'll click on edit. So this is my sample dashboard that I've completed. Now we want to link this list to all the elements in this map. So what you do, you come to configure. So you want, if you select a country, it shows you whatever is in that country. You'll go to actions. Then on filter, you choose the targets. So since there are no similar columns or similar fields with the same name, you will always choose, you check the spatial, then spatial. because you don't have a layer that has the same column or field names. But if we have the same field names for all the layers that we've added here, you can choose fields and select if it's a country on the African countries layer and a country field on the WDPA layer. If they're the same names, so you can be able to use fields. But since they are of different names, you can be able to select by location. That's why I'm selecting. All these are selected as partial. Then we like, if we select a layer, if we select a country here, it flashes to alert the user of that dashboard that this is the country that has been selected. Do we need to show pop-ups? You can still check it if you want, or if you don't want to show pop-ups, you can again turn it off. Pan, you can zoom. So whenever you select a layer, you can be able to exactly zoom to the location. Instead of people panning again, searching for the specific country, it just zooms automatically. Now, once you're done, so let me change. Once you're done, you click on done. So that whenever you choose a country here like Benin, it goes exactly to where Benin is, and all the statistics and all the elements change automatically. Ensure you save, always save this dashboard so that in case of any new change, they reflect on the actual dashboard. So this is the dashboard I have. I have the editing window and then the view window. This is the final dashboard that you'll be able to share with your group or share with us. Save. So once you save, you can be able to share, you can publish and share a link to your dashboard. So next, we are going to story maps. So a story map is just a presentation, a small presentation that you make. A small presentation like a PowerPoint, but in a spatial environment. So I'll still go back to my folder. So always remember to work from your folder. So from your folder, you click on Create App. Then you'll also be displayed by this dialog box. So you'll have to choose ArcGIS Story Maps. And before you create a story map, ensure if you are using any video, any audio, or any photo, you have all your materials in a folder ready for story maps. So you'll have an open window like this. So you can have the title of your story. So I'll open one of the story maps that I've done. Still, if you chose protected areas, you can have it as this is the story map. I'll view and edit. So the title of my story map here is Evolution of Protected Areas, which I've written here. So you can always change this to suit what you want to communicate or depending on the data that you are using. So these are the photos that I'm talking about. You can be able to download or get your own photos. This is the layout. You can always choose here what you want to be displayed. You can replace an image, or if you don't want that image, you can be able to remove the image. So story maps also have elements. So some of the elements that you can demonstrate here. If you want to add an element, so I'll say evolution of protected areas, for example. Then you can add a cover image here or a cover video, as we discussed. You browse your files, or you save your photos. So I can say, let me add this. or depending on the photo that you've chosen, what you feel you should be having as your cover photo. Then what I do next, you can come on the design and choose how your cover page will look like. If you want it to have a title within it, you choose this layout. It's called the full layout. Then you can have a small introduction here. Then it's done by who? By Isaac. So that's the first element you can add, the cover photo. Now the next element you can be able to add is a text. So let's say you want to describe your protected areas. Maybe you want to introduce what protected areas in. So you can introduce your title. Once you're done, you can choose to add a separator so that you separate the introduction and the other text. So this is the introduction. So again, you can format it. You can format it, you just select, and then you can bold, you can always align center, you can align left. You can add another element here, either map. So maybe you want to show where that area is located. And this one allows you to choose either from the web map that you created, or you can add an express map. An express map is where you now pick your own points. So it will come with that dialog box. So for example, if I want to add my already map, I can choose biopharma protected areas. So you can choose either to edit or not to edit. Then once you're done, you click on add. Sorry for that, my screen is so small. So if it's not okay, you can go to edit in ArcGIS. Once you're done with adding, you can still add another element. So you choose your files. Again, I'll choose whichever I want to use, then done. Then you can have a small description about that image. So assuming this is a protected area called Karura, you can always add your caption. Now, once you're done, you can again come and choose another element here. You can have a swipe. A swipe is a comparison of two images. Let's say you are comparing that protected area in 2010 versus that the same protected area in 2020. You can always choose those two images and have, let's say, an image here. Another image. So that you can be able to, if someone is utilizing your story map, they can be able to tell the difference between the two images. And you can always add some text. You can change the layout here, medium, full, or even small. So you will be able to add those elements one by one and add a timeline. So it depends on what elements you want to add, but ensure you have at least these listed elements here. Now, once you're done, you click on, you can have your content here, your attribution, then add credits, and then you have the credits header. Once you're done, you can preview your story map. So it will be like this. So once you're satisfied that your story map is fine, you go back. And then you can come here and can either sharing level, you can share to everyone. Since you'll be submitting your story map, once you share with everyone, you click on publish. So once you publish, you can be able to send your link to your story maps. So this is an example of what you've done. So borrowing from the same example, you can be able to come up with your story maps that will finally be used to be judged and award marks. So I think I'll stop from there, unless there's a question from the participants. Is there any question? So I can return back to Ngugi to take over from there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Isaac and Pauline, for that elaborate presentation regarding the 4 submission formats. That is the story maps, the web applications, the web apps, the web maps, as well as the indicator dashboard. We have run out of time, over 5 minutes, but thank you very much for joining. Maybe just 2 key things that I would want to comment. One is on the issue of data sources. You can make use of other data sources. You are allowed to do that. The only thing that you need to do is to ensure that at least 2 of those data sources that you have used are from the geoportals that we have listed there. We'll provide the recordings and the slides that have been used in this particular session on your respective emails. We'll also have other webinars that will be focusing on various things. Maybe there's a specific thing that you are interested in. We will do a poll perhaps a bit later, so that we can get your feedback and views on what kind of a webinar do you want, especially the technical ones. And in that regard, I would like to ask to close this particular session. And let's hope that you'll join us in the next webinar. And in case you have any question, or in future you have some clarification you're seeking, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much. I wish you a good day and a good week as the week comes to a close. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.